Welcome, one and all, I guess, to Deep Fart Fried.
And some as well.
And,
hello.
Some of you might be wondering why we're early. Actually, what we did is we went and added up all of the amount of times we were late. We added them up. We subtracted it from our usual start time, and we started at that time to make up for all the late shows.
Wow.
Whoa.
Good job on us.
Yay, us.
Wow.
Round of applause for us.
What a great maneuver.
Hey, guys, we're doing great here.
No, we're just
beautiful.
doing it early so Scotty can watch Monday Night Football because that's the fucking priority in life.
It is the priority in life.
Wow.
Speaking of priorities in life, where's my $100, Paul? I won, Paul.
Well, here's the
Remember
thing.
that time I
Yeah,
won?
no. I know you won, and you'll get your money.
Remember
but here's
that
the thing.
fucking time I won, bitch?
I made a side bet with Scotty
What side bet?
that
I don't care about
he
your side
would,
bet.
That he would. Well, here's the thing. He has yet to pay me the $100 he owes me.
That sounds like your problem. My problem is
Well-
you owe me $100.
well, then let's discuss your problem.
What was this bet?
You've got a guy that's got $100
Uh-huh.
that you could get it from, and you got a guy that doesn't have $100 that you're going to get nothing but excuses from. So if I were you, I'd just collect that $100 right there.
And if I were me, which I am, I
Look,
would send
me
a
and
couple
Paul
goons to bust
made
the
a
fucking
wager,
legs, bitch.
Made a wager. on a
You
game
can
of
break my
chance.
legs if you want,
On
but
a
you're going to
game
have
of
to pay
chance.
those goons with your own money because they're not going to bring you home
It's
any
a
money.
matter of the principle at this point.
The principle is fine. You want to break my legs?
I'm going
break
to take
my legs.
$100 out your ass,
I mean,
Paul.
I think a guy like you, a sensible
What is
dude
this-
like you, would rather just have the $100.
What is this shit? What was this bet you made with Scotty? What was this side bet, supposedly? Scotty, did you make this bet?
Actually, TJ, I think you owe me money because Paul.
Why do I owe
me
you
and
money?
Paul made a bet.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Me and Paul made a bet. He's like, I bet you that TJ is going to win, and if so, TJ will pay you $100.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you cleared this with
He
TJ.
can't make a bet on my
No,
behalf.
I said you cleared this
What?
with TJ. He said, yeah, I did.
Which I did.
Well, he didn't know.
So
did
you owe
not.
me $100.
What
In
is
fact,
this
the
gibberish?
bet that we made was actually this conversation that we're talking about now. Yeah.
Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed.
So
Yes.
if you want the money, one, either you're going to have to pay me the money, then I'll pay you
For
back,
those who don't
TJ,
know,
for Paul.
this bet was over the Kavanaugh confirmation.
So
Paul,
look, you pay me, I
in
pay
his
Paul.
endless naivete,
TJ,
thought Kavanaugh would not be
TJ,
confirmed.
let me explain to you how it's going to work. You're going to
What?
pay me, I'm going to pay Paul, and he's going to pay you.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay you.
Uh-huh.
You're going to pay Paul,
Yes.
and Paul's going to pay me.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you get $100.
Yeah, I don't get $100 because it's my $100 at that point.
What? No, it's
You
my
need to
$100
pay me
that I'm
$100
paying
that
you.
you owe me.
I don't owe you shit.
Yes, you fucking do.
You made the side bet.
Are you going to pay or not, TJ?
We're going to discuss this
All right.
privately. TJ, get the Amish mafia on both their asses. Yeah, you damn right. I got connections now.
Is my beard getting shaved now? Am I getting a haircut?
Shave and a haircut. Wow, Paul scamming TJ. How the tables have
Scamming?
turned.
Scamming TJ?
Damn.
Excuse me, sir, but you'll be hearing from my lawyer, Jacob Rosenthal, about a slander and libel lawsuit
Wow.
heading your way soon.
That's
So hope
shocking.
that little meme comment you made in the chat was worth it, buddy.
John Doe.
Because you don't want to have... Dude, you think Michael Avenatti's a badass fucking lawyer? You don't want Jacob Rosenthal on your ass.
Jacob Rosenthal will shred 10 Michael Avenattis.
The one name that puts a fucking chill up Michael Avenatti's spine is Jacob fucking Rosenthal, dude. And that's his actual middle name, too.
Look.
Fucking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
I know Jewish attorneys, and this is the one
Jacob.
Jewish attorney you don't want to mess with, dude.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with him.
I'm sorry. He's a pit bull.
I wouldn't mess with Jacob Rosenthal. I'm glad he's on my side.
Thank you for introducing me to Jacob Rosenthal, Scotty,
no
by
problem,
the way.
dude.
It's been our
Contact
lawyer.
I gained
Been our lawyer for years.
through my friend and business associate, Scotty, here.
I mean, he didn't want to take the case for us because you're not Jewish at all. I'm like, look, can you just do me a favor? He's like, all right, I guess since you're part Jewish, I'll do it for him. So, Paul's been an honorary Jew.
Yep.
There you go.
I stomped on the glass.
Whoa.
They cut my foreskin off.
Mazel tov.
Cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense to
So
me.
Paul's a Jew now.
Awesome. Wow.
Learned a lot today.
If he was a Jew, I mean, that explains why he's not wanting to pay me. Makes
I
sense.
mean,
Anyway,
I would pay you as soon as you pay your debt to your brother so he can pay me.
That's not a debt that exists.
yes, it is, TJ. You made a fucking bet.
So today's episode, happy Columbus Day, you guys.
Yeah. So let's put aside all this mishigas about money.
Let's unite under the banner of a great man in American history.
Yeah.
Christopher fucking
One of the
Columbus.
co-founders of this great nation.
Yeah. I mean, he was the really, I would say he's the greatest hero in the history of the Earth.
The fact that some other
Amen.
shit country in South America ended up named Colombia is a fucking shame. This
Yeah.
country should be the United States of Colombia.
Yes, this is the true Columbus, dude.
We
True
do have the
fucking
District of
Columbus.
Columbia, though.
Yeah, we got the District of Columbia, and we got a town called Columbus.
Oh, we
Which,
got
by
some
the way,
guys.
Columbus, Ohio is no longer celebrating Columbus Day as of this year, by the way.
Man, that's gotta be weird.
Excuse
It's
me?
like you still got a town named
That'd be like
after
if
him.
Halloween Town decided that they were no longer gonna
Right.
do any Halloween shit.
Yeah, it's like, we're done with that.
What would the Oogie Boogie Man do then? He'd be like, "What am I gonna do with all these spiders I'm filled with?"
Jack Skellington's
telling
like,
me,
Halloween
TJ,
is offensive now.
a city that we lived in,
Yeah.
are really close to, for years of my life, has now officially stopped recognizing Columbus Day.
Yes.
What a shame.
What about President's Day? George Washington? Why don't we just fucking forget about him too?
Maybe we should.
I mean, I guess according
Maybe
to these
we
fucking
should.
out of control liberals, we probably should. He owned slaves, didn't he? Take him off the money. Take him
Look
off
at this guy.
everything.
I mean, look at this fucking
Look at this
hero, dude.
motherfucker.
He's got the whole fucking globe in his arms.
and people say this is an artist representation. This is actually an actual photo of Columbus.
Yeah, this is a picture of him discovering America. This is what it looked like.
This is the moment.
Read 'em and weep.
This is the moment he discovered America and discovered that the Earth is round. Because remember, before that, people all thought it was flat.
We're gonna get into that. So TJ,
He also discovered that the west coast of the United States is made of cinnamon sticks, too.
Yes, exactly.
Weird.
Yeah, it's
TJ,
pretty cool.
You might have heard this before, and if you know the words, TJ, just sing along, dude. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He had 3 ships and left from Spain. He
don't know
sailed
the
through
rest.
sunshine, wind, and
Rain.
rain. He sailed by night. He sailed by day. He used the stars to find his way.
Way.
And it goes on and on, dude. But it's just great.
What a great little song that for him that we did.
So
Oh, wait, listen to this line, dude. Listen to this line from the fucking poem. 90 sailors were on board. Some men worked while others snored. So there was just there was like lazy
Some
fucks
lazy
on there.
fucks on Columbus's voyage.
They always just bring a few lazy fucks on the ship, you know.
Boy, get up and rig the mast, you fucking lubber.
Piss off.
Face off, I'm taking me a nap.
so people might wonder about Columbus, dude. Columbus was an explorer.
No, he wasn't.
He was a fucking explorer. TJ.
He was a hero.
I know. Well, I mean,
The
he was
word
also
you're
a
looking
hero.
for is hero.
Born in 1451 in Genoa, Italy. Died May 20th, 1506.
No.
I mean, so Columbus
He lives on in our hearts.
Well, I mean, Columbus will never die.
yeah.
So
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, he died.
you guys might wonder, what did Columbus do? What do you think Columbus did, TJ?
He discovered America, and he discovered the Earth was round.
Very good, TJ.
And he helped those savages
he did.
reach a new level of civilization.
So most people listening or watching wouldn't even exist if it hadn't been for the bravery of Columbus, because a majority of our audience is based in the USA. So if it wasn't for what Columbus did, you guys wouldn't be here. You wouldn't
Well,
listen.
I mean, and
you
think
wouldn't have
about
a
it.
fucking brain right
If
now.
not for the resources and great minds that came out of America, Europe would still be in the Dark Ages. You guys would still be like huddled under the walls of some castle with some feudal lord pissing off the edge onto your stupid peasant heads, dude. Columbus gave you all freedom, dude.
And look, I want to address this Leif Erikson shit. Okay, look. Oh, he found North America first. He did it. He did this. You know what? No one
Fuck
came.
Leif
No one came
Erikson,
after him.
bitch.
No one came after him. No one gave a shit. He got lost, so he gets some credit for nothing. He didn't do shit. He didn't discover shit.
You know what? You know what happened with him, too? Leif Erikson, he landed in America. Some Indians fucking chased his ass off.
yeah.
What did Columbus
didn't.
do? He laid down the fucking law.
Yeah, Columbus didn't take no shit off those Indians, dude. He didn't.
It's true.
He fucking kicked their ass and's like, no, I'm Columbus, bitch.
He didn't have to kick their asses. Most of them brought big bouquets of grapes and flowers
Yeah,
and meats
and worship.
and
I'm just talking about
spices to him.
the few
yeah,
that were not
the rabble
down.
rousers were dealt with.
Yeah, obviously there was some assholes on the Indian side. Maybe a few white dudes were not too great either. But
I don't know about that.
I'm just trying to be fair.
Oh man.
But you know, most of these Indians are pretty cool.
So,
with
like
this.
you said before, Columbus actually set out to prove the world was round. Did you know that? And we actually have an animated clip, reenactment of how this went.
Cool. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look at this.
This is absolutely 100% historically accurate.
Well,
clip.
we're not. Why would we be doing a show about it if we were going to
mean,
just tell a
obviously.
bunch of fucking?
Whoa,
bullshit.
where's the sound? Oh, okay, there it is. Whoa,
Whoa,
dude, it's anime Columbus.
Anime Columbus. This is a thing.
I didn't know there was anime Columbus. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, it was.
Yeah, dude. These guys look pretty happy.
He studied the law of the sea.
There's a law of
The
the
laws
sea,
of the
TJ.
sea.
If you weren't such a landlubber, you'd know it.
Yeah, I don't.
Captain of his crew, a brave and vicious man, determined to explore.
Whoa, what the fuck's wrong with
Well,
his
yeah,
head,
what happened
dude?
to his head when he got old? Fuck.
It looked like he had normal human proportions.
Yeah, all the way through his teen years, he was fine, but
But
Look,
then he got like head
The
got
ways,
lumpy.
the ways of those like Columbus are not known to mere mortals such as yourself.
Discovered a new land.
that's true.
He's like, let's go discover a new land, guys. Let's just go.
Let's go discover a world.
The sun and sky, and his heart would be his guide, a man of valor and pride.
This sounds like a North Korean propaganda song.
Well, I mean, obviously Columbus is so fucking awesome that anything about him sounds like propaganda, even
Right.
when it's clearly not. It's just that we're not used to anyone being this great, So almost when we hear it, it wants to trigger like, man, I feel like this is like a fucking total lie because no one's this awesome.
So at this point, Columbus
but
is
he
sailing his first journey. So this is Columbus's first journey to America.
Yeah,
around
look at him.
ships. So the eight.
Oh, you're not.
Yeah, I want to explain where he's going if you don't know. The Asian islands near China and India were fabled for their spices and gold, making them an attractive destination for Europeans.
Nuh-uh.
Since Muslim domination.
Dun,
Look,
dun,
can we even
dun,
say
dun,
that?
dun,
Can we even
dun,
say
dun,
that now
dun.
anymore, guys? So, since Muslim domination of the trade routes through the Middle East made travel eastward difficult, Columbus devised a route to sail west across the Atlantic to reach Asia, believing it would be quicker and safer. He estimated the Earth to be a sphere and the distance between the Canary Islands and Japan to be about 2,300 miles.
Amen.
Which, I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't accurate, but, Columbus was a ballsy guy. He's like, you know what, maybe my calculation's right, maybe they're wrong. I'm going to take a fucking
You know what I
chance.
think happened? I think he knew that there was another continent out there, but if he went around and talked about like there's another continent, people just be like,
They wouldn't believe him.
He had those dream sequences every night.
Yeah.
Where it was like, Christopher, the new world awaits. Go west. You know what I mean? He just
Yeah.
knew it was there.
Listen how ballsy it was. So even in contemporary times for him, many contemporary nautical experts disagreed. They adhered to the now known to be accurate 2nd century BC estimate of the Earth's circumference at 25,000 miles, which made the actual distance between the Canary Islands and Japan about 12,200 miles. Despite their
Prove it.
disagreement with Columbus on matters of distance, they concurred that a westward voyage from Europe would be uninterrupted water route.
cool. Well, they just got the distance wrong.
So Columbus knew, dude. He fucking knew.
Columbus knew there was another continent out there. He just knew he had to spin some other fucking bullshit lie.
So they even told Columbus, dude. So Columbus kind of knew. He was like, in his heart of hearts, he probably realized it was 12,000 miles. But you know what? He was like, I'll make it. He believed in himself, TJ. He had a vision. He was a man of vision.
I want to hear more of this Columbus
All right,
song. Hold on.
go ahead.
Their blessings he obtained to carry the flag of Spain. Through tempest and rain, a strong, courageous man, determined to explore, he discovered a new land.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Wow, man. I bet this anime kicks ass, dude.
The sails raised high.
Damn, how long is this? It just keeps going.
His quest for
I guess you can't contain the greatness of Columbus in just one song.
There's not many guys on that ship, man. They're pretty efficient, too. There's like 4 dudes on Columbus's ship.
Wow. Wow, there's an episode, too?
This is like a movie.
It's a whole movie, dude.
It's like an anime movie.
Someday I shall go and find out.
Young Columbus.
What? Wait a minute. Oh, this must be just like part 1, because if he's...
Yeah, dude, this is young Columbus.
oh,
dude.
this is just a clip.
Gave you that
I get it.
idea.
So this
Yeah,
is
it's
the very
not the whole
beginning of the
Place,
movie.
It's much too far.
So it's like young, fresh-faced, adventurous, impetuous, refuses to be held down.
Oh, dude, everyone around him's like, it's too
Bright young
far.
lad,
You can't
Columbus.
go there, Columbus. You're a dreamer. No one believes you.
anyway. I'll climb to the top
Fucking visionary, dude.
You're crazy. Get down from there, kid. Well,
Columbus was awesome, dude.
I'll be damned. He did it. Look, everyone. I told him he couldn't, and he did it anyway. That's right.
What a fucking man.
So was it easy for Columbus, TJ? Columbus.
Hell
spent-
no, it wasn't easy.
Spent years trying to convince someone to pay for his voyage. He first tried to get King John II of Portugal to pay for his journey, but the king was not interested, like an idiot.
Fucking retard. Boo.
But finally,
Boo, King of
he
Portugal.
was able to
Boo.
convince Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand of Spain to pay for his trip.
Wow.
He set sail on August 3rd, 1492, with 3 ships named the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
Santa Maria.
The voyage was long and difficult, and at one point his men threatened mutiny and wanted to turn back. Columbus promised them they would turn back in 2 days if they did not find land. In his journal, however, he wrote they had no intention of turning back. He placated his men. He faced mutiny, TJ. He faced not being able to fund his voyage.
He stared the eyes of death in the eyes, TJ.
The eyes of death in
yes,
the eyes.
yes, TJ.
He faced the unknown, TJ. Let me ask you, TJ, would you get on a ship and sail fucking west? Would you do it?
Would you?
No, but I'm not Christopher Columbus either, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. None of us are Christopher Columbus. He's a man far greater
So
than
these
anyone
fucking
here.
liberals shit on Christopher Columbus. How many of them would get on a fucking ship and be like, here, you're on a rickety fucking ship. Hope you can find a new route to fucking Asia.
Boo, liberals. Boo. Fucking pieces of shit. Columbus did nothing wrong.
Who's even said anything wrong? I mean, why
That's
are
what
we?
I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, a lot of these people, I don't know if you know
I
this.
don't listen to those people.
A lot of these idiots are
It's the
going around.
facts.
This should be indigenous people. Yeah, Columbus bad.
I don't even want to get into that right now.
All right.
We're not going to besmirch. the
We're just
memory
gonna
of
talk
We're here to
the
talk
facts.
about the true facts about Columbus,
Exactly.
not that
Thank you.
bullshit.
So, where the fuck did Columbus land? Where do you think he landed, TJ?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. Wasn't it like an island?
So after 36 days of sailing westward across the Atlantic, Columbus and several crewmen set foot on an island in the present-day Bahamas, claiming it for Spain. There he encountered a timid but friendly group of natives who were open to trade with the sailors, exchanging glass beads, cotton balls, parrots, and spears. The Europeans also noticed bits of gold the natives wore for adornment.
Why does Columbus look like he was kind of fat? That doesn't fit the picture that I have of him.
Hold on.
It's a
now.
clothing, dude. It's a clothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just fat clothes, dude. What I want to know is how did they get this from this? I mean,
Well, here's the thing.
not a whole hell of a lot of
It's not
similarity
actually 100% certainly known that this is actually Columbus. It's
Oh, this is
widely
Columbus.
speculated that it's Columbus, but
It's not 100%.
there. Dude,
nobody really knows if it's
I
actually
know
him.
Columbus, and that motherfucker
I mean,
right
it does
there,
kind of look like it should be Columbus.
that is Columbus, bitch.
But it might just be like Giovanni Pontiti, the spice merchant
that ain't
from
no
down the
fucking
lane.
what?
You don't know.
That is Columbus, sir.
You don't know.
You're full of shit.
You don't know who it
that
is.
ain't no Giovanni Patiki or whatever the fuck you
So
said.
Columbus and his men continued their journey, visiting the islands of Cuba, Hispaniola.
Did he get some fucking bomb-ass cigars in Cuba?
I think he probably did. Now
Cool.
Haiti, which is now Haiti and the Dominican Republic, which Columbus thought might be Japan. He thought Cuba was probably
He
China.
thought it was Japan.
And meeting with the
What a
leaders
smart
of
guy.
the native population. During this time, the Santa Maria was wrecked on a reef off the coast of Hispaniola.
That's sad.
With the help of some islanders, Columbus's men salvaged what they could and built their settlement of Villa de Navidad, Christmas town, with lumber from the ship. 39 men stayed behind to occupy the settlement, convinced his exploration had reached Asia.
That sounds horrible. Do they play Christmas music around
They
the year
do.
there?
He set sail for home with the two remaining ships, returning to Spain in 1493. And Columbus gave a glowing, somewhat exaggerated report and was warmly received by the royal court. So they were kind of happy. They actually thought it was like, whoa, he actually had some success.
Wow, he made it.
So here's actually some quotes.
I heard
from
they were
Columbus.
pissed he didn't bring back like gold and shit though.
Look, a lot of people discuss these quotes from Columbus and shit. I think we should talk
we
about
got some
him.
Columbus quotes.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to read them, TJ?
Where are they?
It's right below what I was reading.
I wasn't following, so I don't know. I
Just
don't fucking know. Oh, here we go. When I arrived in the Indies, at the first island I found, I took some of them by force so that they could learn and give me information about what there was in those parts. And in that way, they soon understood us and we them, whether by word or by sign, and they have been very useful to us.
So look,
Making the fucking savages feel useful.
yeah,
What a
he took them
class act,
but
dude.
it was to learn from them.
Yeah.
It's like how the Federation arrives and it's like, look, this is like a peace delegation. You know what I mean? They're just trying to learn.
Right.
Just
the
trying
ways
to
of their
learn a little
culture.
something about your culture.
Well, I mean, we'll get about weapons next. You want to read that one?
Weapons they have none, nor are acquainted with them. For I showed them swords which they grasped by the blades and cut themselves through ignorance. They have no iron, no their javelins being without it, and nothing more than sticks, though some have fish bone or other things at the end. It appears to me that the people are ingenious and would be good servants, and I am of opinion that they would very readily become Christians, as they appear to have no religion.
Look, Columbus wanted to help these people. He wanted to
Trying
give them
to help
religion.
them out, trying to give them religion,
knowledge.
trying to employ them,
Yeah, good servants.
Teach them about iron working and shit.
I mean, Columbus was bringing a lot to the table. So people try to, say, oh, Columbus enslaved these people. Oh, he subjugated them. I mean, come on. He was saving them from ignorance.
They were using sticks. Probably wiping their
That's
ass
how these
with
people
rocks.
they had fucking sticks. They didn't even have iron. They
Columbus
had nothing
came
going
over
on.
there with fucking double-ply Charmin and shit.
Yeah. Here, wipeth thine ass upon this. They were like, whoa.
And the savages wept, for it was beautiful. I like it. And then he took another voyage, right?
Dude, yeah. So in 1493, Columbus took to the seas on his second expedition and explored more islands in the Caribbean Ocean. Upon arrival at Hispaniola, Columbus and his crew discovered that Navidad settlement had been destroyed,
Whoa.
and all the sailors were massacred.
Betrayed by the Indians, dude.
So people wonder why they had to
Backstabbed.
enslave these fucking people. And if you wonder, look no further than what happened at the settlement here, Christmastown. Now I want to paint a picture.
A
for you
town that
guys.
just wanted to bring the Christmas
Look,
spirit to the
they
Americas.
were just cheerful guys that wanted to spread peace and love in the Christian spirit of charity.
Yeah.
And what happened? In the night, these savages, hating, their hearts filled with hate, saying, what are they doing to our culture? What's going on here? They're bringing metal, they're bringing medicine, they're bringing science. No!
Not on my watch.
Kill them! Attack! Attack! And the Christian settlers, these peaceful sailors, please spare us! We will not raise a fist to you.
We come bearing gifts of iron and toilet paper and the love of Christ. Please, savages, please.
And I cut them down.
Wow.
Put away your fishbone spears.
I mean, Columbus was left no choice. Spurning the wishes of the Queen, who found slavery offensive, Columbus established a forced labor policy over the native population.
What choice does he have at that point?
I mean, at that point, how can Columbus trust them anymore? He needed someone to rebuild the settlement, explore for gold, believing it would prove profitable. His efforts produced a small amount of gold and great hatred among the native population, which, I mean, look, that's just further evidence they hated him. Before returning to Spain, Columbus left his brothers Bartholomew and Diego to govern the settlement of Hispaniola and sailed briefly around the larger Caribbean islands, further convincing himself he would discover the outer islands of China.
Good job, Columbus.
So he still believed he was in China, or the Indies. He was at the West Indies.
It doesn't. Okay, yeah. Cool. Good stuff.
That's a beautiful story.
Third voyage.
Third voyage. So it wasn't until about his third voyage that Columbus actually reached the mainland, exploring the Orinoco River in present-day Venezuela. Unfortunately, conditions at Hispaniola settlement had deteriorated to the point of near mutiny, with settlers claiming they had been misled by Columbus's claims of riches and complaining about his poor management of his brothers.
What?
The Spanish crown...
They're just jealous.
I mean, they are, obviously. Sent a royal official who arrested Columbus.
How many new worlds did they discover?
0. Stripped him of his authority. He returned to Spain in chains to face the royal court. The charges, of course, rightfully were later dropped, but Columbus lost his titles as governor of the Indies, and for a time, much of the riches made during his voyages.
So they fucked Columbus over, basically, is what you're telling me.
So look, the crown. Oh, look, the crown had a fucking stake. I mean, and Paul pointed this out to me earlier, like that Columbus was supposed to receive about 10% of the wealth from this.
Yep.
Oh, but coincidentally, he has to be arrested and lose all his titles and lose all his right to those claims.
Right, so they just don't want to share.
They just don't want to share the wealth.
They don't want to share the wealth that he discovered with him.
Wow.
Just
Man,
kinda sad.
what a bunch of scumbags.
So there's actually an article here about how
To betray a good, decent
Columbus, using science and his ability to reason, actually saved the day, dude. He actually saved himself and his crew from these savage people
man. Yeah, I have some.
who at
about that.
every point wanted to kill Columbus.
This shit right here, right?
Yeah.
How a blood moon eclipse spared Christopher Columbus from disaster on his final voyage to the New World. In 1492, Columbus made his infamous... What? Infamous? It's famous, not infamous.
Famous.
Voyage across the Atlantic Ocean to the New World that set the stage for future voyages. However, his fourth and final voyage almost ended in disaster if it were not for help of the moon. For over a decade after his first trip to the New World, Columbus set sail on his fourth and final voyage that was riddled with problems.
I mean, allegedly. I think Columbus at the helm. I mean, this is probably just historical people that are opponents of Columbus attacking him and saying, "Oh, it was riddled with problems. Oh, it didn't really go well."
It says
That's
the four
just
ships that he had were being eaten by worms that would eat the wood, so the ship started becoming unstable and leaking. Says Mel Blake, associate professor of physics at the University of North Alabama.
That sounds like a very convincing source.
Later that year, Columbus and his crew landed on the island now known as Jamaica with only 2 of his 4 ships. However, these ships were damaged. They were stranded on the island until relief arrived. At the time, Jamaica was inhabited by local people called the Arawak Indians, who decided to help Columbus and his men. They showed up with large ships and gusts, and it all seemed very impressive, so the local people helped him, Blake said. For months, the Arawak Indians helped Columbus and his crew as they waited to be rescued, giving them food and supplies. This went on from June 1503 when they arrived until well into the fall, until finally the local people were getting tired of helping them, Blake said. Eventually, the Arawak Indians refused to help Columbus and his crew any longer, a decision that could spell disaster, as they were not equipped to survive on the island for an extended period of time.
You're just trying to help these people, and what do? We're tired of helping. We're tired of helping someone who's just going to
They don't have that Christian spirit of charity.
Release us from our ignorance. He's going to bring metalworks. He's going to bring the wonders of Western civilization. And then after a few months, while Columbus is waiting to be rescued, they're just like, we're getting tired of helping you. We just want to let you die.
So Christopher Columbus, being the clever man that he was, he knew he wasn't
genius.
He knew he wasn't getting off the beach. His ships were still leaking. So he came up with a trick. See, back in the time of Columbus, they used astronomical charts to help navigate while out at sea. They also had astronomical almanacs that would entail positions of the moon as well as events such as lunar eclipses. Columbus had a copy of an almanac that described a lunar eclipse that would happen on the evening of February 29th. Oh, must have been a leap year. 1504. This eclipse would be his opportunity to convince the local people to help him. 3 days before the eclipse, Columbus told the Arawak Indians that his god was very angry that they were no longer helping him. As a repercussion, his god would turn off the moon until they decided to help again. This may have sounded like a ridiculous claim to the local people, but 3 days later, Columbus's prediction began to unfold. The eclipse started happening, and the moon started to get a little nibble taken out of it as the Earth's shadow crossed over the face of the moon, Blake said. It turned this blood-red color the way lunar eclipses do. This terrified locals. They promised to help Columbus again as long as he restored the moon back to normal. Shortly before the eclipse ended, Columbus announced that his god was pleased again and the moon would return to normal. Moments later, the eclipse was over, the moon appeared as it normally does in the night sky, and Columbus's trick had worked perfectly. The locals would now supply him and his crew with food and supplies throughout the remainder of their stay until relief arrived.
Wow.
So these are the kind of people that Columbus was dealing with, TJ. They needed Papa Columbus. They needed him.
That's a pretty clever fucking solution to a problem.
But furthermore, they need him, TJ. They can be tricked that easily. They need a shepherd. They're the fucking lambs, and he is the shepherd.
Here's another Columbus quote. As soon as I arrived in the Indies, on the first island which I found, I took some of the natives by force in order that they might learn, and might give me information. Oh, that's the same quote was before. It's just twice
double.
for some reason. Bad research, Scotty. Bad research. You made a fool of me just now. You're going to get beaten.
What a buffoon you look like, TJ.
I know.
What a horse's ass you look like, TJ.
Fucking Scotty, dude.
Even Chris Columbus's portrait is laughing at you.
He doesn't look like he laughs that much.
Exactly. Underscoring why his laughing now, TJ.
So let's talk about Columbus Day,
He's
TJ.
got an extra sting.
Let's talk about Columbus Day for a
Columbus Day. That's today.
That is today.
Columbus Day is a U.S. holiday that commemorates the land of Christopher Columbus in the Americas in 1492, and Columbus Day 2018 occurs Monday, October 8th, so today.
Wow.
It's a beautiful day. So you guys may wonder, what was the first Columbus Day celebrated? So it was celebrated in 1792.
The day that Columbus set his foot on that blighted land and
300
gave these
years
people
later,
technology, dude.
The 300th anniversary, when New York's Columbian Order, better known as Tammany Hall, held an event to commemorate the historic landing's 300th anniversary, taking pride in Columbus's birthplace and faith. Italian and Catholic communities in various parts of the country began organizing annual religious ceremonies and parades in their honor. So it was in 1892 that President Benjamin Harris issued a proclamation encouraging Americans to mark the 400th anniversary of Columbus's voyages with patriotic festivals, writing, On that day that let the people, so far as possible, cease from toil and devote themselves to such exercises as may best express honor to the discoverer and their appreciation of the greatest achievements of the 4 completed centuries of American life.
In 1892, Harris made a proclamation.
It's Harris' son.
So in 1937,
Well, I couldn't say it wouldn't fit.
one of the and liberals often cite this one of the greatest presidents. President Franklin D. Roosevelt proclaimed Columbus Day a national holiday, largely as an intense result of lobbying by the Knights of Columbus, an influential Catholic fraternal organization. I mean, look, they lobbied to recognize a great man.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, how about you pay some fucking homage to the motherfucker that discovered the
look,
shit that you're
Franklin D.
president
Roosevelt
of?
didn't fucking discover shit. He was
You
in a
goddamn
fucking
commie.
He was in a fucking wheelchair. What was he gonna do? The land he's on wouldn't exist if it wasn't for goddamn Christopher Columbus. Because you know what? His ass wouldn't have existed either.
Scotty. Fucking. And that's why even today, presidents like our great president acknowledge Christopher Columbus. Why don't you read that, Paul? It's a Trump tweet.
Christopher Columbus's spirit of determination and adventure has provided inspiration to generations of Americans. On hashtag Columbus Day, we honor his remarkable accomplishments as a navigator and celebrate his voyage into the unknown expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. Wow.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you,
Warms your
Mr.
heart, doesn't it?
President. Thank you.
Warms your fucking heart.
The cockles.
The deepest cockles of your heart.
So how do Americans celebrate Columbus Day now? You know how we celebrate it, TJ?
By arguing with liberal
By
scum.
buying shit.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of sales.
Why don't
on
you go open up
Columbus-
that
Columbus Day.
article, dude? CNN, which is mostly fake news, but this is true.
This is actually true news from CNN. It's a rare
Look,
instance of true
all
news.
these places on
Look at all
sale,
these places.
dude.
You can get
Look
all
at
these.
that.
Look at all these deals.
So many.
All modern. You get 50%.
So Columbus, even today, keeps on giving.
Wow.
Look how many people are going to save fucking money.
What a great
Thank
man.
you, Columbus.
Save money at Macy's.
Thank you, Columbus.
Perry
Thank you,
Ellis,
Columbus. Oh.
Target. 20% off all clothing.
So
and
what did
shoes.
Indigenous Peoples Day give me today? What sales did they give me?
Yeah. When's that big Indigenous Peoples Day sale?
I'd like to read something, TJ, about Indigenous Peoples Day. And this is just so. Some whiny liberals complain that Columbus, one of America's founders, just kicked too much ass, which is impossible for liberals to do. In a fit of jealous rage, a bunch of whiny libtards made up a fake holiday so a bunch of history's losers can whine. But let's be honest. No one celebrates losers because America is a nation for winners.
Yeah.
And these fucking whiny fucking idiots need to go fucking look in the mirror.
Wow.
They need to go look in the mirror. And I encourage them all to do it right now and say, would you even be where you are right now in this country? Would you even exist if it wasn't for Columbus? Even the slaves, even people who were enslaved.
What if they start asking, like, is it better that I do exist? What if they...
I also have this.
What? There's another one?
Yeah, this is another Columbus cartoon. Check it out.
Round.
Check that out.
Columbus
round,
is convincing the
flat,
crown, the
round.
Spanish crown. The earth is round.
Yeah, Columbus is just trying to educate. Even Columbus was so ahead of his time. Not only did he educate the savages, he educated his contemporaries as well.
It's an actual reenactment. I mean, like, I was just animated.
The world, she's flat. The world, she's round. She's flat. Look, King, she's round like the apple. She's flat like the pancake. Pasta fazoon. She's round, she's firm, she's fully packed. She's round like my head. She's flat like your head.
Damn, dude, that king is disrespectful.
Yeah, and
He's the king.
he's way better at arguing than Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, dude.
Nuh-uh.
He's like, he's flat like a pancake.
No.
I mean,
no, is it?
TJ, what do you think about? I mean, before we get into Paul's section, which I mean, I'm sure is well researched, and I'm sure.
Sure,
it's
just a little
good.
more information.
But I mean, like, I've just. What do you feel about this Indigenous Peoples Day thing? How do you feel about the city named after the explorer and discoverer of America and one of the founders of America no longer celebrating him as a person?
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
I just don't get what this country has become. I don't understand. I understand why these fucking people just can't. Like, they take everything. You know what Christmas is going to be next, dude? It's going to be the Winter Festival. Let's celebrate the Winter Festival, TJ.
Not on my fucking watch. Hell no.
TJ said it absolutely correctly. It is bullshit. Most of the story that we know about Columbus is bullshit.
What?
I don't know about
I
that.
ain't standing
Yes.
for this. Fuck you.
Now there's some things you can't take away from Columbus.
A lot. You can't take it.
You know, he was brave. He was a good navigator.
Visionary.
He saw opportunity and he went after it in a way that nobody had
Your
done
goddamn
before.
ancestors wouldn't even come to this country, Paul, because there would be nothing to come to.
But some of the I feel like you skipped some research, Scotty.
I don't think I skipped anything, Paul.
On
I'm
some
a little confused on what you mean there.
well,
I'm a little offended you would even say that.
let's try and fill in some of the blanks. Number one,
Oh, well, I don't think there's any blanks to be filled in.
everybody knew the world was round.
What?
Yeah. At the time of Columbus, everybody knew the fucking
Look,
world was
maybe
round.
some Greeks did or something, but I don't think.
No, they
no one
knew.
knew it. No one knew.
No, they
I don't
knew.
know about that, Paul.
Everybody knew. Well, maybe not everybody, but everybody of consequence knew the fucking world was round. There was no debate about the roundness of the world, and Columbus didn't go fucking sailing into the ocean to prove anything about the roundness of the world. Columbus went because he wanted to find a fucking lucrative trade route to the the
I mean,
Indian
of
continent.
course,
So it's
that's
like-
true.
Right. He
Well,
wanted
no,
to,
I'm saying I don't know about the Earth, the round thing. I mean, Columbus obviously proved the world was round, Paul. But
no.
I think what actually happened there, yeah, he was looking for a trade route, sure, but I mean, that was the stated purpose of the voyage. I mean, obviously, they were trying to find a route to China that was quicker.
So he was, as you said, he was going to be given 10% of all the profits from any new places that he would discover,
Rightfully
as well
so.
as a title, which is actually a pretty cool title. They were going to give him the title of Admiral of the Ocean Sea.
Whoa.
An impressive
Dude,
title.
can you imagine having that title? You don't pay for shit anywhere. You get swag bags everywhere you go if you're Admiral of the fucking Ocean Sea.
Damn, dude.
You imagine?
That's a badass title. So what were you saying about the Columbus discovering the Earth is round?
He didn't.
He didn't?
Everybody knew that the Earth was fucking
I mean,
round.
look,
at the
TJ, you're
time
gonna hear a lot of false
Columbus. It was
information
settled.
tonight, and you can determine if it's me or Paul that's spouting it off.
All right.
What wasn't settled was the size of the globe, and that's where Columbus was wrong. Columbus thought that the Earth was profoundly smaller than it was, and if he was right about there being nothing but an expansive ocean between the Western European continent and India, then he would have died in the middle of a gigantic ocean
Okay,
with
so
all of his
I'm just
men.
a little confused about what you just said there.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So you said Columbus was wrong, so it's not really making a connection to my brain.
Columbus thought that the world was way smaller. He thought that he was going to be able to reach India.
I think it's just liberal propaganda you're reading.
something
dude.
like, I think it's like less than half the amount of
Are
miles.
you
that
reading
it
an
actually was.
SJW's Guide to History, Paul? Because that doesn't sound right to me.
No, this is actually true. And he,
I mean, what is truth?
so he lands on this little island in the Bahamas, Hispaniola, and you can pull up some pictures. Like all of the pictures, if you look at all of the pictures of this, they're all very like. Here's him petitioning the king and queen.
What a fucking
In
dapper!
this one,
looks-
the queen
he looks
looks
What a
kind of
fucking dapper gentleman, Paul.
Queen
He's
looks
like,
embarrassed in this one. Like,
Yeah,
oh
the
my
queen
God,
is not
Columbus.
being-
look at that, so sincere.
In
Look,
this one,
taking
she's super into it.
woman.
And he looks different in every one of these too.
Yeah, and this one, it looks like Shakespeare.
Yeah,
And this one, he looks like Vigo.
kind of like George Washington or something.
And in this one, he looks like fucking the dude who
well, that's
played
him presenting the
Dreyfus.
natives. There's some natives there and shit. He's presenting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
this is after he
I
came
brought
back.
you some slaves and stuff.
Hey, slaves. How about that?
King's like, yeah, all right. I could go for some more
I
slaves.
mean, slaves is a harsh term. They're servants.
So he said some things about them when he landed on the island and met the natives for the first time. And here's obviously not sensationalized depiction of that.
Yeah, dude, it's
It's
pretty
pretty
cool.
accurate.
He
I mean,
says
Columbus
they-
is there. They're bowing and scraping. They see the cross. They're like, wow, this is great. This dude knows what he's talking about. I mean, it looks totally legit to me.
So he said they brought us parrots and balls of cotton and spears and many other things, which they exchanged for the glass beads and hawk's bells. They willingly traded everything they owned. They were well built with good bodies and handsome features. They do not bear arms and do not know them, for I showed them a sword, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate them all and make them do whatever we want.
That is so taken out of context, Paul.
What's the
Columbus-
context of subjugate
Okay,
them all
well,
and
look,
make them do whatever
well,
we want?
the version you're reading is not historically accurate, so one, I take issue with that. But number two, the other problem I have with that is he didn't mean that he wanted to subjugate them. He meant that they didn't actually need to build a fort. 'Cause that time Columbus claimed them to be friendly, kind of the noble savage. But obviously, later on, when they massacred his men, that's when Columbus had to crack down. Before, he never did any of that, Paul. So they're the ones that resorted to violence first. Let's just put it that way.
Well, the problem that the natives faced at first, because I'm not going to claim he came off the boats and immediately started raping
No, he
and
didn't.
pillaging. But the problem is that the Arawak Indians that populated these islands were known to decorate their ears with tiny little pieces of gold that they would pull from the river. They didn't really prize it any more than they prized any other thing that they decorated themselves with. But as soon as fucking Columbus and his boys saw that there were little chunks of gold hanging off of people's ears here and there, it was over for these people. The extermination train left the fucking port and was not going to be stopped until everybody there was fucking dead. Now, here's the thing. He started kidnapping groups of Indians and interrogating them to show them, well, not to learn about them, to learn one thing. Where's the fucking gold? Where'd you get the gold?
He's just trying to help them.
Where'd the gold come from?
He's trying to help them
Where'd
harvest
the gold
the gold.
come from?
He's trying to help them harvest the gold.
And these people didn't mine gold, so they didn't know. They didn't, he didn't have a concept of a people that wouldn't go digging for gold. So they didn't know. And so by the time it came time for him to pack up and leave, he didn't have any gold to take back. So he decided he was going to take a bunch of fucking Indians instead as
show
slaves.
them the new world.
Oh yes, to show them to
slaves?
show them.
I
They
can
were
show
servants.
you the world.
He even said in his writings, Paul, good servants.
He was giving them employ.
On top of that,
Previously, they were all unemployed.
Look, Paul, when Columbus went there, 100% unemployment. When he left, less.
It was 100% employment.
at one part of the island, he got into a fight with Indians who refused to trade as many bows and arrows as he and his men wanted.
Yeah,
Bad trade deals, Paul. Bad trade deals.
Two of those Indians were run through with swords and bled to death. Then the Nina and the Pinta set sail for the Azores in Spain. When the weather turned cold, the Indian prisoners began to die. So these people who had not been exposed to ocean travel and the extremes of temperature and were probably treated like absolute shit in the belly of a horrible fucking Spanish leaky-ass galleon, they started to croak on the way back.
I think Columbus probably did everything he could for those natives.
And Columbus had a lot of time on that long voyage back home to concoct a fucking fairy tale about what he'd found. He said to the queen and the king, Hispaniola is a miracle. Mountains and hills, plains and pastures, both fertile and beautiful. The harbors are unbelievably good, and there are many wide rivers, of which the majority contain gold.
I would say this is slightly
There are many
exaggerated.
spices and great mines of gold and other metals. None of this stuff. Well, some of it was right. There were good harbors
I mean, he
and
probably
shit.
look, Paul. He probably believed that those things were there. They just had to find them.
But because of these exaggerated reports, although
Slightly exaggerated reports.
the king and queen were sorely disappointed by the lack of gold filling the bellies of their ships, they decided to let him go back again. And like Scotty said, they left behind 39 men in a little fort
And what happened to those men?
called
Paul?
Fort Navidad. Those men were slaughtered by the local population when, in the absence of any command structure, they started roaming out at night and taking
I don't
people
think there's any evidence to
and
corroborate
raping
that,
them,
Paul.
mistreating the populace,
Citation needed.
Where's the
stealing things from the
Paul,
populace.
That doesn't sound like those people.
And
That
so,
doesn't sound like Christians.
and so the Indian populace rose up and fucking saw that there weren't any more white dudes around and decided to kill them all. So, of course, that was all it took as justification for Columbus
Paul,
to start systematically enslaving these people.
39 people lost their lives, Paul. What is Columbus supposed to do? He's supposed to trust these people now? Oh, hey guys, let's have a good trusting relationship. Oh, I know you slaughtered all those men, but let's just trust each other now.
So this was not during the second expedition, but this was after the third expedition when the colonization of this area really began in earnest, and there was a priest whose last name was Las Casas, who did a lot of writing about what happened on these islands under Columbus. And I'll read some of that. It says, endless testimonies prove the mild and pacific temperament of these natives, but our work was to exasperate, ravage, kill, mangle, and destroy. Small wonder, then, if they tried to kill one of us now and then. The admiral, it is true, was blind to those who came after him, and he was so anxious to please the king that he committed irreparable crimes against these Indians. Las Casas tells how the Spaniards grew more conceited every day, and after a while refused to walk any distance. They rode the backs of Indians if they were in a hurry,
That's awesome, dude.
or were carried in hammocks by Indians running in relays.
Damn.
In this case, they also had Indians carry large leaves to shade them from the sun and others to fan them with goose wings. So
all
they,
paid positions.
Yeah, I mean, like, look,
How
think
did they
about
all
all
paid?
the jobs that these
Columbus created a
people
strong
created.
and prosperous economy.
Yeah, I mean, he took what was essentially nothing, a bunch of people hanging out, throwing sticks at each other, and he turned it into one of the most productive economies. Created new jobs.
Paul,
for
Paul, this is one
all these
anecdotal-
indigenous
You guys are
people.
ridiculous.
These are anecdotal
they
accounts.
literally
Paul.
showed
anecdotal
up.
accounts.
They literally showed up to this island
Anecdotal
and
accounts,
began
Paul.
to like beyond genocide these people, just absolutely
Hey, TJ.
debase them to the point of
TJ, so Paul, the Bible, it's just a book of fairy tales, right? You know, you don't believe that it's just a book. Someone just wrote this shit down, and these are some stories, right?
the fairy tale.
These are stories, Paul.
Oh, okay. Well,
These
the
are
story.
Can you prove that this happened, Paul? Can you definitively prove that Columbus's men did these things?
I mean, what?
even
Can
if
I
they
go
did,
there
you
and
gotta
observe
fucking
it?
Can you
No,
go
no,
observe
can you
it? You
definitively
gotta look at it
prove
in the
that you were born?
context.
You're
of
shifting the burden
time,
of proof,
all right?
Paul. You're shifting the burden
Look,
of proof.
times were harder back then. Back then, you know, certain people worked as like, hey, you're my pack mule, and I'm gonna jump on your back, and you're gonna take me.
Look, they were in a
places, you know?
hurry.
Let me read some more of the
All right,
writings of
let's-
this priest
yes,
that was
sir.
there.
All right, go
All right,
ahead,
all
go
right.
ahead.
Trust in a priest now. Okay.
The Spaniards thought nothing of knifing Indians by the 10s and 20s and of cutting slices off of them to test the sharpness of their blades. Las Casas also tells how two of these so-called Christians met two Indian boys one day, each carrying a parrot for a pet. They took the parrots for fun and beheaded the boys. The Indians attempted to defend themselves, and that failed. They suffered and died in the mines and other labors in desperate silence, knowing not a soul in the world to whom they could turn for help.
You know, that was probably some of Columbus's men that got out of control. Columbus he didn't know what that was
Look,
going on.
I mean, I've heard rumors about this stuff, but yeah,
You know,
this
there's
is
always
probably-
a few bad apples.
Look, there's splinter
gonna
there's splinter
decapitate some
groups.
children and steal their pet
Look,
parrots.
there's splinter groups, and sometimes look,
Yeah.
the men under Columbus's control would never do that. So
Yeah.
these other splinter cells that just kind of split off, they probably did some bad shit like this.
Columbus was not aware of any of that shit going on. You know,
Here's what the work
the
day.
second he was aware of that, he fucking got justice.
He punished those men.
Here's what the work day of an Arawak Indian under
Allegedly.
Columbus was.
I mean,
allegedly, according to this guy that was there. Mountains were stripped from top to bottom and bottom to top 1,000 times. They dig, split rocks, move stones, and carry dirt on their backs to wash it in the rivers, while those who wash gold stay in the water all the time with their backs bent so constantly that it breaks them. And when water invades the mines, the most arduous task of all is to dry the mines by scooping up pansfuls of water and throwing it up outside. After each 6 or 8 months' work in the mines, which was the time required for each crew to dig enough gold for melting, up to a third of the men would be dead. So these are pictures of what remains of the Arawak Indians, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about, because we don't know exactly how many Indians were living on these islands before Columbus came. There's estimates, and you know, various historians think they have a number. Las Casas, the guy that was contemporary, says there were 60,000 people living on the island, including the Indians, when he arrived on Hispaniola in 1508. So that from 1494 to 1508, he says over 3 million people had perished from war, slavery, and the mines. Who in future generations would believe this? I myself, writing it as a knowledgeable eyewitness, can hardly believe it. Now, there are historians that dispute this claim of 3 million, say it was closer to 1. There are historians that say that this number is vastly underrepresented and that there were closer to 8 million people living throughout these islands.
Look, Paul, at that time we didn't know much about disease. I think it's more likely a plague.
There were
spread across
60,000
these
of them
islands.
left in 1508.
Paul,
There are none of them left
How do we
now.
know there wasn't a plague or something? How do we know it wasn't a disease
The
outbreak?
plague was, you want to know what plague they caught? You see that white dude standing behind all these Indians? That's the plague they caught.
No, I don't know about that. Paul.
That European virus.
I think, Paul-
that well-to-do, well-coiffed tie-wearing, mustache-keeping white dude back there is what the biggest problem that this people ever fucking faced.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this was
Why did disease wait until the fucking Spaniards showed up?
I'm not really sure. I mean,
man, that's crazy.
But even if it was the Spaniards' fault, it wasn't their fault, dude. They didn't know what bacteria was.
Wasn't
back
their
then.
fault that they enslaved these people and used them as fucking.
They employed them.
They employed them.
Yeah, look at this. This looks like a peaceful relationship.
Yeah, look at
to
that.
me.
They're meeting up. They're exchanging gifts. Look, they come bearing gifts, Paul. Look, they're happy. Not using those guns. They're smiling.
Yeah, they're happy. They're happy to receive the rape and pillage of their entire fucking way of life. So basically, as Scotty kind of covered this, but some word got out of the way shit was going. I guess somebody told tales of big fat Spanish guards being carried around by Indians and raping and pillaging
and here we see
beheading.
a bunch of fucking Spaniards or whatever they are standing around watching dogs rip
sicking
some
the
natives
dogs.
apart.
Dogs
natives.
ripped. Looks like they're playing with the dogs. Look, they're happy.
Whee!
Look, that dog's licking that guy's face. That dog's licking his face. They're having a good time. What are you talking about? Torture.
And so word got back. Now, I don't believe for a second that the Spanish crown gave a fuck about what he was doing to these Indians. But they did give a fuck about the fact that they signed a deal with him.
Well, it did say that the Queen thought that this kind of shit was gross.
Right.
So maybe they might have played on that sympathy
I don't believe
a
it
little
for a
bit.
second. Here's exactly why. Because he was getting 10% of all the fucking
Right.
money that was coming out of these
Yeah.
places. And they discovered the mainland and found that this place was vast.
But I'm saying if the Queen was already kind of like, I don't like that kind of stuff, all they got to do is go to her and be like, this Columbus guy is a piece of shit.
right.
You know? Their motives might not be
So there's basically a mock trial of Columbus and his brothers.
You're a bad guy, Columbus.
where
We're
he
taking
had
all
to
your titles
spend
and money.
a little prison term, and he had some money taken from him. And then at the end of it, the deal wasn't taken from him; it was just stripped.
Right.
So he still had enough money to live the rest of his days as a rich dude and all that. He just wasn't getting 10% of the new world.
Yeah, because they're like, fuck that.
that was going in.
That's too much.
Well,
We
that
don't
was
want-
going in the Queen's
At
pocket.
that point, he needed to be cut out of the deal.
And all
we
of
don't
this,
want Columbus being that powerful.
Actually, it was a subject of a famous lawsuit that Columbus's heirs actually sued the crown,
right,
and won a bunch of money.
and won a bunch of money
Yeah, so-
because it was such a bullshit.
Look at
thing.
this disrespectful
This
Native
disrespectful native. Now look, I stand somewhere in between the let's have Native American Day instead of Columbus Day crowd and the Columbus was a brave soul Trump tweet crowd. It was not uncommon for the type of things that Columbus did in the New World to happen. And at this time, a lot of the same shit was happening in Africa concurrent with all of this to the native populations there. So he was not the only dude to do this. And it doesn't diminish the achievement of navigating that great expanse of ocean and discovering that continent.
Well,
and
there's actually another dick story you told me about Columbus. The whole thing with the
So the voyage was thought of to be a suicide mission by a lot of people.
right.
And in order to get sailors that were willing to go on such a voyage, his first voyage, he made a promise that the first man that would see land, or the Queen made a promise that the first man on his crew that saw land. Oh, don't show them me. They don't need to see me. The first people on the crew that would see land,
Yeah.
get basically $10,000 a month for the rest of their life.
That's fucking good, dude.
You know what I mean? That's a nut. You can live on that.
Yeah.
So
but
what happened was one of his dudes sees land ho, and everybody, pretty much agreed that he was the guy that pointed out the land. Columbus comes out and they go, Columbus, did you hear Giovanni or whatever the fuck his name is? See, he was the one that saw the land. He's a rich man now. How do you feel about that? And Columbus says, no, actually, I saw the land last night. I saw some fires. Put it in the logbook here. It was me. Columbus took that $10,000 a month.
I take Columbus at his word.
So these dudes that risked their lives for his guests, he couldn't even let one of them win a fucking prize, dude. He took that money for himself.
Columbus was a straight up dick.
ridiculous. No, that sounds like a ridiculous.
I mean, like,
story.
honestly, that's why I choose to believe that this is the accurate depiction of Columbus.
Yeah,
Because he
this-
looks like a fucking dick. And everything you know about him just attests to the fact that he was a
True.
fucking dick.
He looks like a teacher that hates you.
As for this whole controversy about Columbus Day versus Indigenous Peoples Day, like, I just remember for most of my life Columbus Day being a holiday that virtually no one gave a fuck about. Now, some Italians apparently care about it and celebrate.
Well, that's how
it
it got on the
parades.
books.
Yeah.
They wanted an Italian hero to celebrate their Italian heritage and have
The
somebody.
irony being that Italy didn't become a nation until 1861.
Right.
so-
And also, I mean, Italy didn't even fund the fucking voyage or anything.
No.
But Columbus happened to be Italian, so they all decided to
from
galvanize
a part of
around him.
a city-state that would become
Yeah, something that would become Italy
become
later
part
on.
of Italy. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, but like I just remember no one ever giving a shit about Columbus Day, really, other than maybe some Italians. And now
It's a freaking
because
furniture
it's-
holiday, dude. It's
Yeah,
buy furniture,
it's like go buy
shit.
some clothes and furniture.
It's
and
not
stuff.
even a Hallmark holiday. It's,
Right.
it's beneath that because you can't buy somebody a Columbus Day
But now
card.
there's so much attention given to it because it's been politicized, and now there's like certain people who want to call it Indigenous Peoples Day, and there's certain cities that no longer celebrate it, including Columbus, Ohio, ironically enough. Which are they going to change their name? Because if you're not going to change your name, then not celebrating the
They ain't
holiday
changing
is
their
kinda
fucking
stupid.
name.
But you know, and then you have the other, you know, obviously the conservative backlash to that, where it's like Columbus was really he was super awesome. He was great. He was a great explorer. He did all this stuff.
Both of those people are ridiculous.
And it's like, come on, guys.
Why can't we do this?
First of all, it shouldn't even
Step
be a
one.
fucking holiday.
Yep. Step one: cancel Columbus Day. It's a bullshit holiday.
Cancel Indigenous people.
Not because it's
no one gives a shit about this
offensive.
day.
Why don't you just?
but because it's a bullshit.
Why don't we just be honest about it? Don't call it Indigenous Peoples Day because no one gives a shit about Indigenous people. Don't call it Columbus Day because no one gives a shit about Columbus.
And number two,
call it fucking furniture sale
There's
day.
no reason why
Yeah.
we can't examine Christopher Columbus and learn from the good things that he did,
Which there are many.
while also being honest about the horrible atrocities that he committed and
I mean,
his
like-
self-serving
Well,
nature.
and that time period,
Here's the thing.
throughout the entire world, slavery was gone. The Middle East, that's like, why do you think they didn't want to go through the Middle East?
I mean,
because-
it doesn't excuse it.
well, they
but
couldn't because the Turks controlled
That's what I'm
it.
saying. But what do you think they practiced on a massive level? Slavery.
Of course.
I mean, slavery was part of it. Yeah, it doesn't make it good or make it acceptable.
Indian tribes
So-
enslaved other Indian tribes, and so on and so forth.
Anybody that, like, look, slavery's bad no matter which way you slice
Right.
it.
Of course, there's no
But
denying that.
to try and paint him as some particularly egregious slaver is just not true. It
No,
was
he was
happening
just par
all-
for the fucking
right.
course.
He was just doing what was expected of him. If he would have gone there and discovered a native population and not brought back slaves, that would have been strange. So you got to understand the context of the times. It was an atrocity. It was horrible. Why can't we talk about that and all the good things that he did and look at him as a historical
I
figure?
feel like making him into the villain misses the fucking point, because the point is not Columbus is a villainous, evil motherfucker. The point is that society was evil and villainous, and maybe it still is.
The
And
point
maybe we
is
need to
that
examine that sort of thing.
History is there for examination
Right.
and to learn from. And we don't learn anything when we make this guy into that superhero that anime cartoon was
or
showing.
a super villain.
Right, or a supervillain, exactly.
Look at him honestly. Look at him. Look at both sides of the look at both perspectives. Because I mean, like, just because he was an asshole and did some really, really disgusting, horrible things, that doesn't take away his accomplishments. But
No.
his accomplishments also don't erase those nasty, horrible things he did.
The problem is that history is only viewed through a contemporary lens because that's the time and age you live in. So it's easy to go back and say, oh, 400 years ago they were doing this. I mean, history is just what we agree upon history being.
Right.
And what it is. I mean, of course you're going to have this, like, SJW 2017 person going, Columbus was a piece of shit. Because by modern morality and modern the virtues and of what we see as a society, what Columbus did is reprehensible.
Well, dude,
and
everybody from
unacceptable.
1492 was a reprehensible piece of shit through our lens.
Yeah, essentially,
There was
yes.
shit that was commonly acceptable in that time that we fucking put people in jail for life for.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know what I mean? Like, trying to look at this dude through a modern lens and paint him as a supervillain or a superhero does nothing but obfuscate the truth of what happened and what he did and what we can learn from it.
I agree.
Amen. And that's our little Columbus Day video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up. If you want to become a patron, we just released our new Dungeons and Dragons thing. You can watch a preview of it on our channel. And if you like it, you can go join our Patreon and watch that. And you get all the Friday shows and all kinds of stuff. We got a
More
really
juicy
detailed
content coming.
Really detailed Patreon. We're going to be updating the verbiage on the Patreon really soon. So we're going to make it even more explicitly clear what you get. And believe me, we have one of the most generous Patreons on Patreon. So please check
Well,
that out.
You can find one that's
I know.
more generous. Let me know about it
Yeah.
because I ain't seen one.
I ain't seen it yet. But thank you guys for watching. We appreciate your viewership, and please give us all of your support if you liked what you saw today. Thank you.